Hi, my name is Daniel Colbert. I'm very well known in the dating industry as Camera Dan, as I've pretty much kind of filmed with everyone. And this is a video testimonial for my good friend John Cooper. So I've actually known John for a couple years. We met at an event that I was helping to work at, and at the time I had no idea that he was a dating coach of sorts. And we always kind of had like the same philosophies and the same kind of or similar ideologies about the dating world, and it was really great to connect with John. John's got a very unique perspective on the actual dating industry, especially now where he'd spent so many years being part of the system that it is and was, to kind of developing it and helping it to evolve to what he's now called social artistry. Like myself and hundreds, if not thousands, of other guys who they enter the pickup scene to meet women. Obviously it's great. It's fantastic. If there's one thing for me, the idea of, even when I read the book The Game, was to just at least push me out of my comfort zone and understand the concept that no matter where you are in life, that you can improve. But the problem that I'd experienced myself personally was that I got a little bit too lost in the theory, and so I needed to find a way out of it. Now, this isn't actually where John came in, but what John does offer, which I wholeheartedly agree with, is an exit strategy to the pickup world. The world has kind of existed without the whole concept of pickup and all the umbrella terminology that had been attached to it. And I'm a firm believer that that there is a life outside of this concept, that you have to spend hours on the streets to meet women, when there are actually, in fact, other ways and healthier ways to do so. And take it from me, I mean, I work not just with coaches in the dating industry, but in many of the other niches in the self-development industry in general, and pickup definitely is probably actually one of the hardest routes that many guys can be taken to get to where they want to get to. But this is where John actually comes in, and where John really does shine his best, because John is able to offer a service to so many guys, and including myself, when I went onto his Barcelona residential retreat thing about a year ago, where he takes away like this whole concept of what pickup actually is, and kind of like turns it on its head, and just gets you to come from a place where actually you don't have to rely on the necessary results. You don't have to be validated by the idea of that if you don't get a phone number from a girl, or kiss a girl, or sleep with a girl, that you've failed at life. Which I know for me was quite difficult with going through it in the early years. That was the kind of standard that if you, as a pickup artist, if you weren't getting any kind of results, then you'd failed, and that's not really a good place to end up coming from, in truth. But John really brings out the best in you, and the experience that I had with John on like the Barcelona trip was fantastic. It was brilliant, with how he takes care of every single one of his clients. I mean, he talks to you as a person, where I've met many coaches that are quite happy to kind of bring you into a system. They teach you stuff, and then off you go, and then that's it. Whereas with John really wants you to develop and become the kind of guy who is perfectly comfortable in himself, happy who he is, and if he sees a woman that he likes, that he goes for it, not out of the ego side of things, where then he has to tell other guys or go out sarging or whatever, to let them know that he's met a 9 and he's gotten this phone number and he's done this and that. That instead he just comes from a place of like, yeah, I'm really curious about this woman. You know what? I really want to see what she is like as a person and see if she wants to be part of my reality or my life or whatever. So John's teaching of like the social history, I agree with 100%. I think the actual concept of coming from a place of giving rather than taking is a huge shift in your own personality and in just the enjoyment that you get out of life. I will say though that the language that John uses with his social history is quite complex. I have to admit, or I'll throw my hands up to this, but there were some words that I had to definitely Google that John definitely expresses in both talks and videos online. But the concept and content that John shares is just mind-blowingly great. And if you are looking for an exit strategy from the pickup world, or if you're finding that actually, just spending like 10 hours a day or whatever on the streets just isn't doing it for you anymore, then it sounds like that you do need to be taking that next step towards something a little bit more spiritual, not crazy into it, because I'm always skeptical about that kind of spiritual stuff, but definitely it's that moment for you to evolve. Now I would say though that John, bless him, as much as I would like to say that John is going to appeal to everyone, he isn't. John is actually probably more for those who actually have been in the pickup or the dating scene for a long while, rather than someone who may be just getting themselves into it. I actually would probably say for those guys that they need to be experiencing a little bit of the pickup world just for the sake of putting themselves out there, but then getting themselves into a position where they can have that exit strategy to actually reach out to John more sooner than later. But overall, John is a fantastic guy. If you don't mind having to Google the odd bit of terminology that he uses, and if you are looking to escape the pickup world, which I 100% believe that every guy should do eventually, then John is the person to go to. And if you can't take any one of his residential programs, or you can't have a one-on-one with his coaching, then I highly recommend that you at least get in contact with John to have a consultation with him, because I really believe that even in that just period of time, John will really change your life for the better. So thank you very much, John. It has been an absolute pleasure to have known you after all these years, and I can't recommend John enough for you guys to check him out, check out his content, check out his residentials or anything else, because he will fast track you to becoming the guy that you want to be without needing to have to do all this grinding on the streets or finding other ways to try and fill this void of life with women.